The following program contains swearing, insults, progressive political ideologies, dad humor, pop culture coverage, memes, artificial intelligence gooning, and frequent references to the amount of semen an elephant can and will ejaculate. Viewer discretion is advised. And don't forget to turn off that pesky ad block.
It would absolutely help if I brought myself up on the screen, but god damn it, folks. How you guys doing? Welcome back. Boulder Talk Radio. Tonight, of course, is Tuesday. I don't even know what day it is anymore. Did I stream last night? I don't even remember if I streamed last night. That's how weird my days are right now, but there's a lot going on with tonight here. Comic binge right off the bat. TikTok being banned would only help society. Curious why you think that. If you want to come in, man, I'll drop you a link. We can talk about that. I do want to talk about GamerGate 2.0 because apparently that is now in full fucking swing. And Vito Gasoldi might jump on a little bit later to talk about it. He's had some takes that people have disagreed with, but I kind of want to have an actual conversation about where things are, what's going on, and what someone like Vito, who is kind of at the forefront of a lot of this kind of online discourse, much like I used to be back in the day, what he thinks about it. He's a relatively nuanced guy. He's got a good head on his shoulders, despite some opinions I disagree with, and whatever else. And Vito likes to joke, so we'll see what can happen with that one. Garrick here asking, what did you think of the Rippaverse Yaira video? Well, you know what, man? I don't know if you saw it earlier. Probably not, because I kind of streamed like over on $3 Theater this afternoon. I did a Hollywood After Dark earlier today. I did do a video on that one. This is the thumbnail. It's currently out. Yikes-ra. There's bad, and then there's this. The Yaira video. That particular they dropped a 10-minute behind the scenes featurette, which I'm going to showcase a bit of tomorrow, because it's like there's money that went into that. That to me is the weirdest thing, that there's money that went into the Yaira movie, the 2-3 minute long tease, whatever it is that they did. And I don't get how it was so bad. They spent money on stunts, on wires, on cars that they could break, and they shot it in what appears to be, I think, Vancouver, British Columbia, where they filmed the Flash shows, which might be why everyone was comparing it to the Flash, is because they literally shot it most likely where they had filmed episodes of the Flash or Arrow or Legends of Tomorrow or Batwoman or what's the other one there? Black Lightning or am I missing any shows? Am I forgetting a show? Right? Am I forgetting anything? I don't know. The Arrowverse is so long ago. But yeah, I think that's kind of funny. I'll have to talk more about that when I dive in. Let's see here. Spherical Man says, I saw it, but the comments were apparently disabled. On what? What was disabled? What exactly happened? I'm kind of curious. What do you mean? Thoughts on GamerGate? Thought you said no GamerGate 2 without the original characters. I stand by that. I absolutely stand by that. But apparently it's not up to me anymore. It's not up to me. I can't control that, but I do want to discuss a bit about where things are, because I do find that to be kind of interesting. But I do want to kind of hold off on that one for a hot ass minute, because I just think that it's the whole thing. Jesus Christ, the whole fucking thing, you guys, is just crazy where we stand nowadays. I don't know. I mean, GamerGate 2.0, Sweet Baby Inc., all of this stuff that is just relatively ridiculous is out there now. And like, there's literally no stopping it at this point in time. What I mean by that is not that I don't want to get too far ahead of myself on this one, really. But there's so much that's like fucked up there. Well, hold on. Hold on. Let me see here real quick. Why is my live stream from earlier, why is that have comments disabled? I mean, like, it was a live stream, so I don't quite know what exactly you're talking about there. Let me see. I haven't gotten any notifications about any kind of content. Let's see here. No, it's perfectly fine. You can leave a comment on it right now. I don't know why the Scream 7 Nev Campbell returns you can't talk on. There's comments aren't disabled on that one at all. I had a comment as of 46 minutes ago. So I don't know. You're going to have to go and check that one out, man. But Garrick for 5, thank you, buddy, says, do you think Eric July is counting his chickens before they hatch in regards to Rippaverse? Is he trying to score a movie series with the Daily Wire? I don't think the Daily Wire is going to put up with Eric and his shenanigans. Besides, they're way too conservative for him. They are. They're just way, like, the Blaze would be a better choice to, but they'd want to do like faith-based shit. The Blaze recently like sponsored a movie called Nefarious, which like is about demonic possession. A guy in prison claims to be possessed by a demon or something, played by Sean Patrick Flannery, young Indiana Jones, and one of the McManus brothers from, Boondock Saints. But anyway, like, Glenn Beck produced it or co-produced it or whatever, and has a cameo appearance at the end of the film. And that's clearly who, Eric July is tied to. But then again, with the Blaze backing someone like Alex Stein and the kind of crap that goes on there, and they might have kind of maybe lessened their restrictions, maybe lessened their values, so to speak. Not that they've ever had any values. Glenn Beck is a godless heathen, a former alcoholic who I still think is largely on the sauce. High on his own supply, absolutely, and has been a very large detriment to our society, more so than I would even argue to the likes of Tucker Carlson. Tucker is a hired gun, mostly out for himself in many ways, but he's not as ideologically driven as someone like Glenn Beck is. Glenn Beck believes in the Book of Mormon. He believes in all that stuff. So to him, this is a righteous cause. He has righteous fury to act the way that he does. He's doing it for the betterment of mankind. When in reality, all he did is swindle a shitload of old people out of their gold. If you recall, and I'm speculating just so we're clear, way back in the day when he had the Glenn Beck show, the #1 program on Fox, back in the midday, before even more than their opinion shows, this guy pulled in the money, pulled in the viewers. Got so hyperbolic, so over the top, so toxic, advertisers started pulling out, and eventually he was really only able to get commercials for a gold company that, if I recall correctly, he had a financial stake in, but that wasn't disclosed to the consumers watching at home. So that is what it is. These guys are all charlatans, and they. But I do, to get to your main point of the question. Do I think Eric July is pulling the cart before the horse? Absolutely. His first foray into live action is god awful, right? And the amount of, oh my God, the amount of dick sucking that the Soska sisters do is like, it's like, there's this point in this, and again, like, I don't know if you guys want to watch the whole 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes. It's cringe, super cringe. But there's a point in in that video where one of the Soska sisters is like, and we would just be texting Eric at like 4 a.m, asking him questions like, is Yaira nearsighted? You know, is she a vegetarian? That one I made up, but the nearsighted one's in there. Like, your job is to tell this story, sure, but like, that's such a weird thing to say. Like, I get the point behind it, I guess, but it's so cringe. It's so cringe. But it is all that stuff, yeah. Anyway, I do think they're just kind of up their own ass with everything else. Parallax here says, "Sweet baby ain't ruined my video games." Yeah, there we go. Zap here says, "I've seen Uwe Boll movie trailers that looked much better than the Yaira trailer." Goddamn right. Let's see here. Yeah, Kenneth Oster says, "You know when you piss off Roger fucking Ailes, you've gone too far." Yeah. Yeah. Also here, that trailer is Plan 9 bad. No offense to Plan 9. Plan 9, yeah. I would watch Plan 9 over watching that, because that there at least was a point there. Now we're talking about it, and I kind of gotta like, oh, fuck berries. All right, fine. We'll check it out, because I'm like, I already got the goddamn thing. Behind the scenes of the Rippaverse, you guys. Behind the scenes. It's terrible. But we will suffer together while we wait for more people to show up, because I know I kind of prompted it a little bit too early tonight. Never mind everyone else. So let's take a look here. This is the making of Yaira's #1 live action trailer. Yeah, the making of a trailer that is longer than the trailer and arguably better edited. So that's kind of weird, but let's take a look. By the way, both of the logos. This is just like, what is this? These are like, you know, it's all like Twisted Twins Productions. These sisters have like like, you know, these guys are weird. Those guys are very weird. All right, where if I could find the images.
I'm Eric July, founder and owner of Rippaverse, creator of Isom, Yaira, and some of the initial characters of this entire universe. I wear many hats here, but I would not have it any other way.
I also don't understand, with all that gear, they still couldn't record his audio like at a decent level. You know what I mean? They couldn't record the audio at any bit of a decent level. Let me just show you guys this. I can't find the full image because I just Googled it real quick. But when I talk, and I'm promoting Vito, so if he shows up, I'm giving you a shout out. Not that like you fucking need to, your channel's way bigger than mine. But here you go. He talked about this, I think, earlier tonight. The Soska sisters gone wild. This is the Soska sisters. These are twins. These are biological blood-related twins that are making out. This is incest is the best, put your sister to the test territory. This is, oh my God, what are you doing, real life sister? Like, it's a legit thing and everything else. And so Mr. You know, I love Jesus. Mr. I love liberty. Mr. I love everything about whatever. And it's like, yo, bro, you're fucking, you know, you play this big game about being this Puritan motherfucker, but you're legitimately hiring like people who engage in incest. Now, listen, I don't know if they do this anymore. This could have been, I don't know much about it, to be fair. I'm not a person that's judging. My only real point for bringing this up has everything to do with the rules that they assign to themselves, right? The moral Puritans that they assign to themselves. That's what they do. That's what we are. So we have that right there. Let's keep going.
Working on Yaira has been amazing. To be gifted the opportunity to be her writers, I consider that we are her nannies. Eric July gave birth to her, and then he's like, I need a strong female influence ×2. Action!
I've seen I've seen porn with that exact same plot line, by the way.
It's been my longest childhood dream to be able to give a future generation of fans what I got from comic books. Like, these women and these men, they taught me how to be strong. They taught me how to have morals, and morals not because like you're afraid of like hell, but
Oh, real quick, I just realized this. I want to point this out. See how it says Surrey right there? So that's the city of Surrey. That's the city that is a little southeast of Vancouver, not too far away from the Washington-Canadian border. And when I went through there in August, that's when all the farmers are farming, and it smells like literal shit. You know what I mean? Anyway, I just wanted to point that out. So they are filming this in Vancouver, British Columbia, only a couple hours away from where I live. If only I would have known. If only I would have known. I would have loved to have gone up there and been an observer on the side and just watched this masterpiece get shot.
doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. And to be able to do that for a whole new generation, man.
To see not only the characters brought to life, that in itself is unbelievable, but there's certain scenes that are basically direct adaptations for what is happening in the comics. And that's just crazy to me to see that play out and be brought to life in the way that it is. It's unbelievable. Like I said, it's something that I don't know if I'm ever gonna get used to it. I'm fine with that because it's an amazing experience when you see everything's set up, makeup, all, costume, everything, and they're like, that's a character that I created.
Walking on set and seeing Yaira off the panels, that's like the greatest feeling in the world.
Yeah, I love doing stunts because I do. It makes me feel like a superhero, honestly. I feel like, you know, we got the pulse rate going a little, heart rate going a little bit.
All right, I do got to say though, I got to give credit to that guy. I will give credit to that guy because it is pretty cool to do those kind of stunts, you know. And so it's man, again, I ask, is he drunk? I don't know, man. Eric, we never know. We never know if Eric is drunk or not. We just have to ask ourselves. Kenneth here says, what the fuck, the girl thinks you're making Avengers Endgame. This is fan fiction, but bad fan fiction. I'll tell you what, I get your point. I'm going to disagree with you again. Just like, it is an original concept. It might be bad, but it's an original concept. So for that particular element, I'll give them the credit. But that being said, still, this is like, the behind the scenes is already more interesting than everything else. And it looks like they probably got all the permits for it. And everything, and they spent the real money. I mean, you got people out there in, like, you know, workers vests that are probably clearing the area, and they looks like they shot at a, you know, I think it was a fall day or something. They talk about that here in a second.
Faster than normal.
I think that it's such a creative, you know, universe that Eric has created. Having Yaira, you know, as the lead in this is something that a lot of people are going to be able to look up to. And it's just kind of a cool twist, you know, it's such an original universe.
When you've got DC and Marvel kind of owning the planet, I think that he's come up in the middle and shown there's an audience for the alternates.
You're right. There's an audience for the alternates. 42,000 units sold in the first campaign. Kudos, good for them. Only 6,000 sold for Yaira. The rate of return is you know, still pulling in money. Make no mistake, it's still pulling in money. But the average cost, I think, is like $116 per person or something like that. So really what it is it's about the whales. It's all about the whales. And when we talk about the GamerGate stuff later on, I'm going to talk about ESG, and there's an interesting point that was made about ESG in regards to diversity, equity, and inclusion, and how that is in and of itself just a form of capitalism that is seeking out its own version of whales, of people who have money who will pay into those programs when really, quite frankly, no one else is. So let's continue.
To DC and Marvel, and he's really an amazing artist. He's the fact that he's created this because he just wanted to make a comic book, and then there was so much interest in him and in what he's doing that he went from a goal of 100,000 to, what was it, 2 million, whatever it made.
So like 42,000 total purchasers. Right. So that's 3.7 million in the first campaign. It was coming off of the culture war, selling the culture war, selling comics are woke, comics are trash, comics are bad. I alone can fix it. And there's been such a decrease in purchasers since then that even though it's still making money, it's still, you can tell. I mean, this one hit hard. The Yaira thing, I didn't talk about this earlier. I meant to talk about this earlier, but it took like a couple weeks, 3 weeks or a month or something for Alpha Core to hit 1 million. And then Yaira hit it in a day. Doesn't that seem a little bit weird to you that Chuck fucking Dixon, right? Like YouTube, or not YouTube, comics fucking like royalty Chuck Dixon took him weeks to hit $1 million. And they were literally almost having to beg people to do it. And then now this one does it in a day because they baited everybody along for months, right? Yaira Winter. Winter is over in like 7 days. 7 to 9 days. So they wait till the end of winter to release this. They release one of the worst teaser trailers in live action ever shot. But their audience doesn't care because their audience is buying it because they want to feel like they're being represented, right? It's their version of DEI. They're fucking social justice warriors. Make no fucking mistake.
That's pretty amazing. And I think he's a very cool guy. And I think I'm honored to be part of it.
Fans are gonna feel so excited when they watch this teaser. They're gonna latch onto these characters and the story. They're gonna.
Oh my God, that's Altona? Did you know that was Altona when you were watching this? I did not know that was Altona. Like, I had no idea. And then the guy with the clear wig and everything else, just the acting is so bad. But the crew that they hired to do it, I'd like to know. Someone PA something Productions is that guy right there, right? But look at him. He's wearing a mask. He's wearing a mask, folks. Right? This is a non-woke comic book teaser trailer. This is a non-woke, no ESG, no DEI. Homie is wearing a mask. What kind of soy-drenched shit is this?
Want more.
Writing for Marvel is what introduced us to Eric July. And I remember knowing that he's a huge comic.
Okay, I want you guys to listen to this. And I want you, one's in the chat if you think this is real. Two's in the chat if you think this is bullshit. I'm going to go back 10 seconds. I'm just going to let it play. I want you guys to hear this.
Fucking, excuse my language, they're gonna fucking want more.
Writing for Marvel is what introduced us to Eric July. And I remember knowing that he's a huge comic nerd. And so people are like, oh, we sent your comic to him just to see what he would say. And everyone was like, oh, you're gonna get ripped apart. And I was like, no, I think this guy's gonna like it. And Eric loving that was so cool, and that's how we kind of became friends. So every time we would write an issue, we partially wrote it in mind, being like, oh, I bet this Eric July guy's gonna review it. I want it to be really boss, and I want him to really dig it. Working with Eric.
What in the fuck was it? Right. What the fuck is that shit? What the fuck is that shit? Dude, there's no way. There's no way. Jarbo's really dropping names we've never heard of. That's what I do, baby. That's what I do. It's just holy shit. They are salesmen just waiting to blow the money. I mean, basically, yeah. Let's see here. Eric says, are these all former Marvel writers dumped and picked up by the Rippaverse? A lot of them are, yeah. A lot of them are that way. It's pretty funny. They're very much just primed. What if you are a failed Marvel writer or DC writer, all you have to say is, I don't like wokeness. And Eric July will be like, here's a check. Write me a story based on these one-dimensional cookie cutter 3D asset trace characters. And we'll pimp you out. I really want to know though what they spent on the budget of this, because I think the budget on it was probably pretty high. I would assume a 1 to 2 day shoot, most likely. Maybe one day. They did it in one day. First bit of the morning was shot outside, and then the evening was shot inside the building. But anyway, yeah, let's keep going.
Eric and getting to develop a friendship and just, he's a guy that we text at 4 in the morning and I ask like, hey, how tall is Altona? You know? And is she nearsighted or farsighted? And he's so cool about it. And you can tell he actually cares.
Oh, how tall? Imagine that fucking phone call at 4 in the morning. What in the fuck? Oh my God. I'll just text him at 4 in the morning. And I'll be like, is Altona tall or short? She nearsighted or farsighted? When's her period? That I'm curious what her astrological sign is. Jesus Christ.
I was really stoked to see the illustrations of Stefania first, and you can just almost, it helps you imagine the character because it's so well thought out before, and you're like, okay, cool. I can see what kind of damage this character can do and how destructive she can be, but also has this really human component about her too, even though she's discovering her powers for the first time. It's really epic to see those two worlds combine.
No, I love Eric. I mean, yeah, I was lucky enough to get to talk to him on set that day for about half an hour. And yeah, it's just like the fact that he created this, turned it into something that obviously the fans are responding to in such a big way. The sky's the limit for him. You know, there's so many characters and so many stories that he's coming up with, and, you know, having this live action aspect to it. I think that the fans are going to be super stoked about it. And
he literally has no idea what to say, right? Because the question they probably asked him was, what do you think of Eric July? And what do you think of the Rippaverse as a whole? And he's like, I only talked about it for like 30 fucking seconds, or read about it for like 30 seconds before doing the job. So I'm just going to regurgitate what the fuck everything else. I love this here. Eric July is a self-made millionaire. He didn't just fall off the top of a mountain. Yeah, he grifted his way to the top of the mountain and then fucking sat there and attacked an industry that he claimed he could do better in and got people to believe that he could do better in it. So they fucking funded him. And ever since then, it's just been losing support. It doesn't matter what I've done or not done. It doesn't matter what anything is done. I've done things he hasn't done. He's done things I haven't done. I've never written a comic, but I've written movies. Right. So I think it's just like, yeah, he's a good hype man. Exactly. Blockatiel is right. He's a good hype man. He knows how to fucking hype up the fucking, the libertarian concept of bullshit. It's just stupid. This is just, you're just dumb, man. Yeah, Rational here is right. It's pretty easy to make money when you lie and scam people. It's true. You ask him about roads, right? The response you'll get is pretty funny.
And yeah, I'm a fan of Eric, and I'm excited to follow his journey as well.
He really cares about the production that goes into it and the foundations that are being laid. He flew all the way to Canada, which is insane, and he's played.
Right, he really cares about the production. Did he watch the outcome? Did he oversee her ADR? Did he have any input on her vocal pattern, on her constantly changing accent? On the fact that she's inaudible unless you stop it, reverse it, slow it down, repeat it. All those things are there. But I don't want to make fun of Morgan Boot. Okay. She's an innocent in all this. She's just a hired actor to play a part. And the work that she in the dialogue she had to work with was bad. Was bad. Let's be fair. I do like the blue contacts, though, to be honest with you. I'll give that some credit.
In a really hands-on role, which I think is just so great as a leader in this Rippaverse.
The Soska sisters are so incredible to work with. They are so determined. They're so intelligent, and it's so great working with.
Look at the projections. I just have to point this out. For the quality of the badge, it was just something printed on Microsoft Word. Like, that's it. Like, it just looks like it's just like, oh hey. Let's just, like, sticky tape it to your fucking jacket. Sorry, that just caught my eye.
Them to bring this comic book to life. I trust the sisters and I trust their vision, and the fans are absolutely going to love what they've created. These two women are powerful, and they are creating such a powerful world for us all to watch. It's such an incredible project to see. The fans are going to be so hyped and excited.
Man.
Hey, what's going on, Vito? Joining the party, Vito Gasoldi. aka the
Bro,
quarter.
he made a 10-minute behind the scenes for a 3-minute short film.
Yeah, they did. Have you watched this yet? It's pretty bad.
I just cannot make heads or tails.
It's
everything about this is just like we live in Crazy Town, right? It's like Crazy Town.
Yeah, we do live in Crazy Town. Absolutely.
Like at one point, we were all saying, we're like, man, if only the movies were better, right? You know, if only the comic books were better. I just want great stories, right?
Sure.
And then Eric July shows up, and then everybody just starts saying like, I love to eat garbage. Like,
It's not-
can you
it
just
won't-
shovel a bunch of garbage down my mouth, Mr. Eric July?
I think it's more than just like, I think it came out before him. Like, I think Ethan Van Sciver kind of like set the tone. And I'm not saying Ethan does garbage work. I think, you know, he's been around, he's professional, he knows it. But Comicsgate opened the door for any Tom, Dick, and Nut job to go, I have a comic idea. And,
yeah, I don't know anything about that.
Well, that's what happened.
Well, that's
right.
what I'm
Well,
doing.
oh yeah, no, yeah, I forgot.
You're giving up my grip.
Yeah, I'm not,
Matt.
yeah, right, yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah, I'm not the one accidentally linking my entire fucking draft on the goddamn internet.
Look, that is a long story, and I don't even care they leaked the draft. It's kind of funny, actually.
Is that the final draft, or is it have things changed?
No, it's like an early draft.
Okay.
They had to watch an old stream. I did like a group like writing thing where it's like everybody reads the script and we talk about it. And somebody copied the Google Doc link that the host had brought up because he was reading a copy of it. And they typed it in, and I had the script set to public access so anyone with the link could read it.
And so
I'm glad they read it, though. Somebody made a video where they're like, we read Vito's leaked script, and they're like, fuck, that was pretty funny. I'm going to buy that now. So,
well, that's good. I saw the only thing I saw is randomly, I was at work, and I'm just like thumbing through YouTube. And I guess one of those clips had popped up for like Mad at the Internet or whatever.
yeah, Noel tried to say it's really bad, but then all the things he said were bad about it made no sense, and it actually kind of
Yes,
worked out.
you were
my favor.
self-insert for sexual assault is like, that's something I saw in there. I thought that was weird.
Yeah, man, I'll just say, like, at the end of the book, you ever read like manga? You ever read like
No.
You're aware in anime, like sometimes there'll be a trope where the male character falls on top of the female character, and it's like he's grabbing her boob by accident.
Yeah, I know that trope.
That's happened. That happened in Evangelion and some other stuff. It's like, oh my god, I can't believe I've been caught in this compromising position on top of this woman. This is a complete misunderstanding. So at the end of the book, there's like a scene where the main lady character is naked for a reason, and the other character falls on top of her, you know, and it looks like he's straddling her sexually because he's fallen on her.
Now, is he also naked, or is he in his costume?
No, he's in his costume.
Okay, because I thought that was something that I heard Josh had say, because I only listened, I didn't watch the video. So
he's in his costume. There's a naked lady under him, and he goes, well, that looks bad. You know, kind of one of these sitcom moments. And then somebody sees him, and she goes, oh, my God, that man is raping that woman. And they're all going, I had people going, I can't believe Vito would put rape in his comic. And I'm like, well, it's not rape, first of all.
Yeah, you
And
can
second
go
of all,
like,
it's the equivalent of the Simpsons episode. Remember when Homer's reaching for a lady because the lady's
oh,
got
the Venus de Milo episode.
Yeah. It's a man being accused of sexual misbehavior when in reality he has done something completely innocent, or what do you call it? Innocent and
like
accidental.
Innocuous, yeah, that's innocent.
And Noel tells everybody Vito made a rape comic. And I'm like, all right, sure,
well,
man,
I've seen you poke the bear a bit on the Kiwi Farms. Because
at this point, it's like the things they say are funny to me. They're like, Vito, why are you reading Vito reads his thread. He's so on. I go, I read my thread because my thread is hilarious. It says that I beat women, that I ran a website for naked, what do you call it, Shota? Like little boys, anime boys. I'm like, I didn't know that. That's interesting. Did I do that before I beat the women or afterwards? They'll just say crazy things. And then they go, oh my God, he's so blown out. He's so owned. We found his old video game reviews. As Andy Worski put it, he goes, "Did you know this Vito Gesualdi individual would review lolicon pornography games?" And I go, "Yeah, which game was that?" And he goes, "Otomedius for the Xbox 360." I'm like, "Oh, you mean that spaceship game that's rated T for teen? You're telling everyone that's a lolly sex game?" Sure, man. Whatever narrative you want to put out
I
there.
still get that. I got that today by fucking Snyder fans, right? Because there's that old tweet of mine from 2012 where I asked if having sex with 16-year-olds should be legal or not, right? And it's because I was like, at the time I was on 4chan a lot, like hunting for content back in 2012, and that was a thread I'd come across. Right. Well, my views
at this point, the internet exists just to take stupid shit out of context.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Because I got called a pedo like 20 times today on Discussing Film Thread because some like random guy who like fucking huge Snyder fan comes at me and is just like, "Okay, pedo." I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Like, you don't even know what any of this that I'm saying is." And he's like, "Whatever, pedo." And then all these other accounts,
they've really destroyed that pedo word. And they're going to be really upset when they learn nobody cares when you call them a pedophile anymore because you called everybody a pedophile.
Basically, it's the same thing. Was it feminists did with the word misogyny, sexism?
Yeah, dude, nobody takes it seriously. You call someone a pedophile, and at this point, once they started saying all the teachers are pedophiles because they told if you're a gay teacher. And you go, "Oh, me and my husband went, to dinner last night." Then you're grooming the kids by telling them you're gay, and that's pedophilia. I was like, okay, well now you guys are fucked because.
Well, I was reading a story a couple of years ago where a teacher had actually gotten, I think, either reprimanded or fired from her job because she was out after school hours on a weekend at a bar drinking with some friends. She was a little tipsy. One of the parents of her students came over and basically gave her the riot act for being drunk. Like, "How dare you teach my children if you're an alcoholic," sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then they reported that to the school and she got in trouble because she was out enjoying her life.
Yeah, you're not allowed to have a personal life.
No,
you're
really not.
Be a teacher.
Well, and it's not just teacher. It's literally anything, right? Be content creator online. You can have a fucking personal life. Everything's content. When my shit blew up a couple years ago, I don't know if one guy like looked through my old like videos of people who I'd worked with or whatever, or this guy had reached out, but someone I went to fucking film school with did this interview. I thought him and I were friends. Like, I had no indication that he fucking threw me under the bus, completely made up bullshit. But like at the time it was just, he was trying to pimp his Twitch channel. And so the guy, I think it was Drummer, did the interview. And then Drummer was like, "Yeah, you should go check out this guy's Twitch channel and shit." And I'm all like, so we've known each other since 2005. We've done so many projects together, and you're going to fucking sell me out for some Twitch subs?
Everybody's nuts, man.
It's
at
just
this
crazy.
point, I just tell people, they're like, "Aren't you worried about how you're perceived on the internet?" I'm like, I don't know, man. It seems like all you guys are crazy. So
everyone is getting crazier these days. It really seems that way. But they're also getting more indoctrinated and more fucking radicalized.
Yeah.
Like the people that are like literally trying to defend like the Rippaverse. Like I haven't engaged with it as much as you guys have, but I still kind of pay attention every once in a while. And the stuff with the Yaira trailer and this behind the scenes things popped up, and I'm just like, bro, this is bad.
Well, it's just bad. It's not like it's bad in like a way. What's interesting about it is just the hypocrisy, where it's like, guys, your whole job is to say like, "Hey, this sucks. This movie sucks. This comic book sucks." And you're really good at that until it's your black friend. And then he makes, the stupidest looking short film. Looks like it's like not even like kind of okay. It's like just genuinely, if anything, I've talked about this with other guys in the industry, and they're like, "Yeah, so if Eric's trying to get like TV and movie deals, putting this out is the stupidest fucking thing you could do."
Yeah.
Because you show this to any producer and they're going to go, "Oh, this guy's like an idiot. I can't make shit with him," because no sane person would put this on the market. They would look at the footage and they go, "Oh, I fucked up. This is unsalvageable and I'm scrapping it."
Well, the thing with it is, though, is that his I guess you could argue his saving grace, if you will, is that he didn't direct it. He produced it, but maybe just as an exec producer, but not as a hands-on producer.
His directors are the fucking lead writers of the stupid fucking comic book.
I know. Oh no, I know. And they're like, and the fact that like they put this out, that they,
I didn't know they were that bad at directing. I don't know how they fucked it up that bad. I thought they like probably knew what they were doing.
I figured, well, it's just some of the, maybe their cinematographer, like I didn't care for some of the shots. Mostly it was like I can handle bad camera work. Okay, that doesn't bother me as much. If the dialogue is legible and understandable and interesting, that's going to be more where your audience is going to get involved. This was neither. You know, I talked about this earlier today. I did a Hollywood After Dark stream this afternoon, and I said, like, you know, the animation between for ISOM 2, that was okay. The animation for Alpha Core, that was okay. You know, but it's like, was that shit just too expensive to do this? They just
not
wanted
only was
to try.
it too, look, it's a waste of money. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't move that shit does not help him sell any more comic books. The only reason to make this shit is like it serves exactly one purpose. It's to show to potential, you know, people you want to make partnerships with. It gets your potential, the guy who's going to fund your animated series, it gets his dick wet when you have a, you know, proof of concept.
Yeah.
It doesn't really sell comic books. I don't know. Maybe there's some portion of the audience that sees that and they go, see the Rippaverse. Oh my God, they're already making movies. How could I not buy these comics? But at the end of the day, I think most people who are going to buy the comic, this definitely is not selling comics, because even the people who like the Rippaverse are like, hey, that was a really good try. You really put in the effort.
I just feel like making that leap. But I will say this, I'm a little bit like, I feel like I have to give a little bit of credit, because they shot it in the Vancouver, BC area where all the CW shows are filmed. Yeah. And I think that's what they were going for. If you look at, like, and I was talking about this, I don't know if how much
they were going for tax breaks, Matt. That's what they were going for.
Probably going for tax breaks.
That's literally the only reason they would film it in Canada.
I find
it's cheaper.
That's very true. And I only live a couple hours away from there. Actually, I drove through Surrey not too long ago.
You could have been in it.
I know. I should have. I wish I would have known. I would have made the trip.
You could have been the cop with the toy microphone.
Oh yeah, like, we got 5 minutes to Alpha Core gets here. 5 minutes. Thanks for the heads up.
Let me know about Alpha Core. I am Yaira.
Didn't she have like a German accent too? Whatever the fuck.
How did they fuck this up so bad? It doesn't. Okay, so the idea of a trailer is like someone who has not read the comics should be able to watch it and figure out what's going on, right?
Or at least have enough interest to want to go and learn more.
Sure, you don't have to give it all away, but you can at least, you know, be like, here are the major players, and here's kind of what it's about. The Yaira trailer, which is not a trailer, it's a short film, but let's call it a trailer, opens with a black man falling on a car for no reason. And he's talking about how he can't fly. Right?
Wasn't that, and that's kind of a meme, isn't it? That's like self-referential. Because
it's, for some reason, Eric thinks it's a very interesting scene when
he falls on the car.
Can't fly and he lands on a car.
Well, was that line in the, I don't remember that line being in the original comic, because Yellow Flash,
I think it might be in there.
No, because Yellow Flash, when he was arguing with Dick about it, Yellow Flash was like, no, he can fly.
I think that's what made it so egregious, that ISOM very clearly states he cannot fly, and Yellow Flash didn't read the book, so he didn't
none of them read the book. I think his haters, us, read the book more.
I've probably read it more times than most of these guys.
I've read it twice.
Anything in here I like? I don't think so. So it then cuts to a blonde lady giving a speech, and you're like, who is that black guy who got dropped on that car? What was that about?
And then did she say adapt or die, or adept or D? Like, her accent.
Here's the thing: is after ISOM gets dropped on the car, they have like an 80-yard line from her saying like "Leave me alone" from Yaira, because I believe Yaira is the one who drops him on the car, right?
Yeah, because he gets punched by that one guy.
He gets punched by Darren. He's in Darren's office, and he's fighting with them, and then he gets punched out, and Yaira fights with him and drops him.
It's like that. What's his name? Like Sam something or another.
The point is, they're missing a shot. The shot is
him flying through the air.
Well, the shot is he's been dropped on the car, and then Yaira is in the air, flying, looking down at him, and says, "Leave me alone." And you go, "Oh, she's a super lady who just dropped this black man." Instead, it cuts to her, and it is completely disconnected from the black man dropping on the car, unless you have read the comic and you know that the lady's voice you hear off screen belongs to Yaira.
Yeah.
It is just a glaring and obvious error that is baffling and also easily fixed in a number of ways. It's just, and that I don't know how anyone's going to follow this. She shows up and there's a lady on the ground. We don't know who that lady is. Another character yells, "Help us, Solari!" A character who, again, you would only know if you have already read these things. Why would a random citizen, is that a thing the citizens of the city do? Is they run around anytime something bad happens, they run and they go, "Help us, Solari!" Like, has somebody trained them to do that? Is that a thing that they know that guy will show up if they yell his name? That's never.
Isn't that the chick from Alpha Core?
Solari's the big guy, Brian Solari. He's the Superman guy.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
So I guess I don't know, I guess you could make the argument that in Metropolis, everybody knows Superman. So if a guy goes, "Where is Superman?" maybe that line would work.
Yeah.
But Solari doesn't really feel like that kind of character where like everyone in the city on a first name or whatever last name basis runs around, and anytime they're in trouble, they go, "I sure hope Solari shows up." That was, in fact, in the comic, they kind of established that people don't like Alpha Core, so that was confusing also. And then she does a flying jump for no reason and punches a lady who vomits a laser into space.
Yeah, but she also says like "Sweet dreams, child."
Right. "Sweet dreams, child."
Chilled. You know.
Sweet dreams, child.
Yeah, I am the T-1000.
I'm Chomp. I am Jaira. I am going to punch the lady who shot the laser.
So, I mean, based upon just based upon the voice, I have to ask, like, is she trans?
Definitely might have something going on.
Yeah, she's an archaeologist and biologist, whatever the fuck that shit was. Right.
Even a short film, you can have like a theme, right? You can have like kind of an arc, like here's who this character is or something.
Something like that. Something like you could have anything you could do to make it more appealing to outside of just to the core audience, which is going to get it. However, there is something to be said about not trying to make it appealing to the outside audience and making it something you have to do research on, because we have heard, when these companies come out and they try to do reboots or reimaginings or something or another, they alter and change things from the original adaptation, right? And people get mad about that. But then the people who, like, if you look at like the movies that don't do that they bring back the old cast, or they pick up old storylines, or they don't go in that direction, the fan base follows, because the fan base already knows it, is comfortable, it's familiar, and it's being played directly to them. And I think that was the reason for this, because Eric has said this is, fans first, yada, yada, yada. And we all know that's bullshit. But he has said that, and I think that might be the whole angle here. But it's also like, it just outside of the story, the nonsensical story that we see in that like 2 minutes or whatever, it's just also not made in any fashion that makes you want to go back and watch it again. It's just not good. It's just not good storytelling. And like,
you want to hear a lady give a speech and then she punches another lady for some reason?
I mean, sure. I don't know. It's so bad. It's just,
what I would have done? I would have said, let's choreograph a really kick-ass superhero fight scene. Just a 2-minute fucking awesome fight scene with like special effects. The Irish shoots the laser. I wouldn't have said, "Hey, what if she like gave a speech?"
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Well, because I think the idea there is like whatever her double personality.
Double life.
Yeah, thank you. Double life for like projections or whatever. I mean, look, any way you slice it, it's not great. But they have
when
made
Iron Man gave a speech, it was like kind of funny and cool. And
yeah, but she's also not Iron Man, to be fair.
Okay, but like, if I told you right now, like, hey, I want you to watch this YouTube video, and you're like, what is it? I'm like, it's a white lady giving a speech. you'd say no, because that's boring.
Yeah.
That's the most boring thing I can fucking think of, is a white lady giving a speech about science shit. And that's like half the trailer. And then she punches the girl once.
It's weird. It's like I know, again, tangentially what's going on because I've read the first couple issues. I haven't read Alpha Core. I don't feel like I need to, like, just at all.
What's going on is the Saska sisters can't write an interesting trailer. The best part was when the black guy fell on the car, and then I don't know, man. They should have just took that footage and said this sucks, and made just like the trailer for the comic, and you could have had a couple little live action like shots in there from the shit they filmed, and put some filter over it so it doesn't look like a student film.
Well, one of the things I thought was the most interesting was like with the Saska sisters is that they clearly again, like going back to the other concept of this too, it's like the degeneracy of the twincest, and that is on full.
Go ahead.
Okay. That's, I don't personally like
Ian vomiting, tarantulas up the cooter. What more could you ask for?
Have they done that?
That's a part of the movie. I was told it was a fake tarantula, but
I'm pretty sure.
Never tell.
Well, you never know. You never know.
You got to put something in there.
Sure.
Why not
girls...
spiders?
I just find it weird that it's like the whole twincest thing kind of creeps me the fuck out. I understand that's their brand. Like, I'm just kind of
There's some creepy looking. Like, if you told me to pick two witches out of a lineup of normal women, I would point at those two first.
Sure.
It is so weird how fucking creepy they look.
But then my question becomes then, what exactly does Eric July see in them? What exactly is he, why he's bringing this up? That's kind of the whole point, right? Is he's all of this like libertarian. He's like, more traditional, doesn't like gay people in his comics, doesn't like gay people in anything, and then, so I'm under my impression of him, should say, I don't know if he gets all fucking litigious and shit. But it's just weird that all of this, his audience is just full of these like, fucking Tradcath America First motherfuckers. And yet he's hiring these two women to write this story. And it's like, you can look up the shit that they've done. Did you see okay. Did you see the shit in that fucking video about the Saska sisters talking about how they got to know Eric?
Well, no, my understanding was that he read their Black Widow comic and he liked it.
So, okay. It's not that I want to fucking go back. You've got to, hear this bit. I got to find it. Hold on.
I know that Eric says he helped him find Jesus, and that's very admirable.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right. You guys don't know the Saskas like I do. They love Jesus.
I'm sure they do. Didn't they put something like some weird shit? Like, didn't they masturbate with a cross in a comic or something?
They made a comic where a bunch of nuns ripped guys' dicks off, but I don't know.
Well, that could
be.
I
hear that, and I'm like, hey, that's pretty cool. This should work for me. I don't know why they're working for Eric fucking July.
Because he has paid. Because he cut him a check. He
guess,
most likely paid them up front. Most likely paid them up front.
You know what? I guess you're right. My question is not why are they working for Eric July. My question is why did Eric July hire these crazy bitches?
Yeah,
it's not the best ideological fit.
It's really not. But then again, he's only able to really get his hands on like former Marvel people. So here, I'm going to play this clip for you. I want you to listen to this, and I want to get your direct reaction because, dude, it's so cringe.
All right.
I fucking want more.
Writing for Marvel is what introduced us to Eric July, and I remember knowing that he's a huge comic nerd, and so people are like, oh, we sent your comic to him to see what he would say, and everyone was like, oh, you're gonna get ripped apart, and I was like, no, I think this guy's gonna like it. And Eric loving that was so cool, and that's how we kind of became friends. So every time we would write an issue, we partially wrote it in mind being like, oh, I bet this Eric July guy's gonna review it. I want it to be really boss, and I want him to really dig it. Working with
Yeah.
This is all so fucking cringe.
It's what the fuck is that? Yeah.
Why do you need your black libertarian friend to like your comic book? He doesn't know what a good story is, so why listen to him at all?
It's so weird.
What expert fucking like? It's so weird when you're like, what makes Eric July a great writer? And everyone's like, well, he read a bunch of Spider-Man comics this one time. I'm like, that's not how that works.
No, it's really not.
He's a guy who complains endlessly, and then you go, okay, man, like it's pretty easy to complain. We all do it. All right, it's especially easy to complain now when you can go, oh, hey, look, there's gay shit, and I don't like that. All right, fine. It gets kind of boring after a while.
I'll admit, I kind of hope that the Saska sisters like slip in some shit like fucking surreptitiously, you know, or just like.
I hope that they take all of Eric July's money, and hopefully their comic is subversive and gay in weird ways. I don't know.
I kind of hope so. I really do. I hope that Yaira is a pansexual otherkin.
They have other projects they're working on, and they sound pretty woke. It's like. I think they're making like a Dawn of the Dead type thing, but it's all women being empowered and fighting the zombies. And you're like, all right, good. Let's go nuts. I don't fuck you.
Well, maybe because like, I don't know, they're women doing it. It's different, I guess. But the thing we have to remember though, is it's kind of like go back to Nerdrotic when The Boys season 2 came out, and they were like all loving the show. And then there was that one cold open where one of Stormfront's fans killed that convenience store worker.
Immigrant, yeah.
Right? And they all lost their shit. But fucking Gary never said shit about it as far as I recall. And from what was explained to me down the road was that the reason why he didn't say shit about it is because he knew one of the producers on the show or one of the people involved with the show and was friends with them. And so he didn't shit on it because he didn't want to piss off his friend. Because you got to remember, all of these guys at the end of the day, they all want a seat at the table, right? Geeks and Gamers, Nerdrotic,
they're desperate for it.
They're desperate for it. Even Jeremy has said, like, I know the video, I have it on, but I don't have the clip anymore. It's right. So 3 years ago, when the Geeks and Gamers incident happened with Zack Snyder, I can't believe that was 3 years ago. Holy shit! Right, the funny fucking Zack Snyder denouncing them, right? Right after that, Jeremy went live and just fucking started yelling. Okay. He eventually privated or he unlisted the stream, and then he privated the stream. And I think he since has deleted the stream, but I was able to get some clips out of that. And one of them was like, we want Hollywood, or him saying something like, we want Hollywood to come to us. Right. Like we're the tastemakers sort of thing. We can control the masses. And I'm like, what you're doing is like fucking extortion. What you're doing is you're trying to fucking like attack. You will attack something until they pay you to stop, or they bring you in and give you a seat at the table, giving you that power. Like that is so
they just
fucking.
Want to make it so everyone in Hollywood is worried about putting gay people and black people in their things, and they're trying to overwrite. I don't know, man. They're nuts.
But well, that kind of ties into the thing I didn't want to have you come on to talk about. So good segue on that one. Of course, that is GamerGate 2.0.
GamerGate 2.
GamerGate 2 Electric Boogaloo. My God.
Apparently, I'm on the wrong side of it, and that's fine.
Apparently, yeah. I saw Tony the Tiger was doing a fucking stream tonight reacting to you talking with Nathan Grayson, I think. I didn't really.
Yeah, I had to leave because I was like, guys, I don't know what you want me to do. You're just saying stuff. You don't have any evidence, any of the things you're saying. You're like, well, what if they were doing this? I'm like, yeah, that would suck. So go prove that they're doing it.
Well, that's the thing I don't get. So like looking into Sweet Baby Inc., obviously they're trying to, in their mind, fill the gap. And they've been able to come on in and do all this stuff in regards to, having there be diversity, equity, inclusion, all that shit. And stuff that, again, coming off of Gamergate from 10 years ago, that wasn't an issue right off the bat. What people need to remember is that it was about ethics and games journalism, where a lot of us old OG motherfuckers got involved. And then it turned into a culture war once Steve Bannon and Breitbart got involved. And then from there, it's only gotten worse. And so I'm looking at like the stuff, the discourse online at this point, they're talking about it. And I'm like, none of you fuckers even know at this point what the first Gamergate was about then. If you're out here trying to fucking talk about this shit, thinking that it's the same thing, I don't think that it is.
Well, it's definitely not. Look, you can say that the journalists are fucking up by not doing a good job reporting on that guy who tried to report a guy's Steam group or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, we were looking tonight. People were complaining about Sweet Baby before that, so it's not like that was the start of the Sweet Baby thing. Like,
yeah,
people have been complaining about Sweet Baby for months.
I mean, like, I've seen the video clip of the woman talking about, like, you know, kind of taking a marketing director out to lunch and kind of making
saying, if you don't hire these guys, we're in for a world of hurt.
Yeah, like, again, that's a nice game studio you got here. Would be a shame if something would have happened to it. Is basically the vibe I got off of that clip, and I don't like that one fucking bit, not one goddamn bit. But when my
vibe is exaggerating how useful they are, you know, in terms of like, well, if you don't bring us in, you know, don't come client us when you piss off a bunch of black people because you portrayed them badly or something. Which, you know, it still sounds bad, but I don't think it's like them saying directly, like, we're going to go out and cause trouble for you.
Yeah. It's hold on here. Shiftyism says, beloved games journalist Jeff Green of GFW Radio said there's no such thing as a games journalist. He said they're all professional enthusiasts, including him. It is enthusiast media, make no mistake. However, it is the predominant entertainment medium in the world. It makes the most amount of money. So it's like you have to approach it from the perspective in many ways, if you're covering the business side of it, from being a professional. Like, there's nothing wrong with being a fan, but it's kind of like that. At least that's my take. When I look at, like, this whole thing now about ESG, because everyone's talking about ESG. What the fuck? Okay, do you know what ESG is?
Well, I've been learning a lot more about it in recent times. ESG, environmental,
social governance.
Yeah. So the idea of ESG is that, and I forget the guy who came up with it, but he's basically like, listen, and honestly, he was like, it was really supposed to focus on the environmental part, and that really is like the focus. It was supposed to be like, here are companies who are trying to reduce their carbon footprint, who are trying to recycle, whatever else. And we're going to look at these companies and we're going to see how good a job they're doing of reducing these footprints. And then we're going to make a fund. You know, we're going to make these investing funds where basically, if you think companies who are doing this are going to be profitable, like if you think that's a viable strategy for them, we've created, you know, an investing category so you can invest just in companies that are doing good at this environmental and social governance stuff.
Yeah.
The social aspect of it was, you know, we're going to look at companies and make sure, you know, we're also going to put companies in this fund that, you know, have diversity in the boardroom, you know, that they have black executives and gay executives, you know, and the rationale is a company that has a diverse staff is going to be better at reaching a diverse group of customers. And you as an investor would go, well, yeah, I think a company that, you know, makes sure to market to Hispanics and blacks and gays is going to make the most money. It's not saying it's a valid idea, you know, and actually I think it's come out that a lot of these DEI focused funds don't actually get big results as opposed to just betting on the actual market. But that's the theory. I mean, there's funds for everything. It's like, if you just care about AI, you can invest in a fund that's all AI companies. If you just care about robots, it's all robot companies in this fund. These were specific funds set up that were like, if you care about this and you think these companies, and again, you know, are also going to get your dollars and should be rewarded with your dollars for doing a good job because you're investing in them. Here's a fund we've set up that'll allow you to hopefully get a return and also have a social impact.
Yeah.
The problem is that it's become this like wide-ranging conspiracy with this idea that you as a game company can put pride flags in Spider-Man, and that means you get a big BlackRock investment. And it just doesn't work that way at all. And it's like kind of silly to claim that it does.
Well, I think they do that because they don't really have anything else to go on, right? Like, if you hear something about, like, you hear ESG, you hear Vanguard, you hear BlackRock, you know, it kind of evokes this conspiratorial aspect.
It's spooky.
Of it,
you need
right?
something spooky.
Yeah,
you don't have the government. If
right.
the government, it'd be easy to go, oh, the government's doing it. You know, the government's evil, right? But you don't have that. So you have to have BlackRock. That's almost the government.
How much of GamerGate do you remember?
I think I remember most of it.
All right. Do you remember anything about the DARPA investment The whole DARPA and GamerGate connection?
Vaguely.
So this happened in like September, October of 2014, right? All of a sudden, because again, what you have to remember about GamerGate back in the day is that everyone went everywhere in regards to investigative journalism, right? Or just investigations and everything. Yeah. There were people running IRC servers 24 hours a day, chat rooms active 24 hours a day, people doing just deep dives, these people that never leave their house, right? And everyone's trying to compile the information together, and it becomes a big ass game of telephone, and a lot of shit just gets kind of like overplayed. So like, I'm going to read off, this is a summary I pulled from Perplexity kind of talking about it, but this is, as far as I recall, pretty accurate. It says here that the connection between DARPA and GamerGate is a complex and controversial topic. DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, was involved in a project called Immerse, which led to speculation among some 4chan members about a government conspiracy. This speculation coincided with the series of events involving Zoe Quinn and GamerGate, and the situation escalated with various petitions and open letters and responses from different parties. Okay, it's kind of a summary show, right? But what it was is there was this game fund, right? There was this game jam sort of thing, and one of their sponsors was DARPA, and so there was this belief for a while that like DARPA was working with like social justice warriors or some shit, like, and it became this weird, massive conspiracy in the early days. Like Sargon was all up on it. And that shouldn't surprise anybody that he was all up on that shit. So many people, King of Pole was all up on that. Everyone is on that. I'm looking at this going like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, how exactly did GamerGate get involved with fucking DARPA shit? And it was nothing, but it was just people who were looking for this connection that simply doesn't exist. And in this whole situation, the Sweet Baby Inc., I see what they're doing. They're coming in there and they're trying to fill a niche, right? They're basically like, look, if you want to get this fund, hire us. We can consult with you.
No, but they don't do that. Hiring them does not get you anything. No,
do we have any key examples of what it is that they have done, like in games? Because there was something about Alan Wake 2 with that, what's her name, Sage?
Yeah, I'll tell you what they did with Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake 2 was made by a bunch of white guys in Finland.
Yeah.
And they said, we want to have an African-American woman. Here's the thing. We're a bunch of white guys in Finland. We don't really know a lot about African-American women. And we're kind of justifiably worried that if we put one in our game, she's going to feel inauthentic to American gamers. And they're going to say, I've never met a black woman who acts or talks like this. She kind of sounds like a white guy from Finland. So that's a perfect example where I go, yeah, that kind of makes a lot of sense to hire them in that situation. If I was going to write a television show about Japan or a video game, I'd probably hire a Japanese guy to tell me, no, the subway doesn't work like that. No Japanese guy would say that about ice cream. Like, whatever. Just like stupid little cultural things.
Yeah.
To be like, here's how to make this character actually a Japanese person. Okay. And like that kind of work, first of all, that has existed way prior to Sweet Baby. Like, just cultural consultants have existed. Okay. If you're making a show, if you're making a movie about Mexico, you go talk to some Mexican people.
Yeah.
So that makes perfect sense. So what they did for Alan Wake makes a lot of sense to me.
No, I get that. But again, that's the idea. It's just, it becomes like,
well, the idea is that they show up and they go, and if you're going to have a black lady in it, she has to hate white people and whatever else. And the problem is, like, first of all, the conspiracy starts with like, they forced them to put a black person in the game. And I think even the guys who made Alan Wake were like, no, we absolutely knew this character was going to be a black woman. So then it comes down to like trying to figure out which specific pieces of dialogue are too woke and therefore the result of what Sweet Baby did. And it's like, yeah, but that's just all speculation. At the end of the day, like they said, hey, can you help us make this character authentic? And Alan Wake made money. Like it's a good hit for Remedy.
Yeah. Oh, it's a big hit. I mean, the funny thing about that is, again, like no one's really focusing on the Alan Wake part of it in regards to the negative. They're focusing on like the Suicide Squad kills the Justice League, because Alan Wake is a celebrated, successful game and Suicide Squad is not. So they can focus on like, oh, this is clearly as a result of them working with Sweet Baby is
Everyone
like
wants
the
an easy
dialogue.
answer. But here's why conspiracy theories exist. It's because the world's complicated and there aren't a lot of easy answers. But it's like really just our brains are so happy when you can go, hey, you know why that game failed? Because it's woke. You know why that movie failed? Because it's woke. You know why Disney's stock price is in the trash? Because they're woke. It's the easiest thing in the world. Why'd all those kids die in that mass shooting? Crisis actors. Like easy little simple things.
Yeah.
Okay?
Easy little simple things that cost Alex
Why do
Jones
those
nearly
people die in
$1 billion.
9/11? Because the government's evil. Okay. Because the
mean,
Jews. Whatever.
Yeah.
It just makes it easy in your head. It's not a complicated social political thing. So
it's probably one of the
Suicide
reasons
Squad,
why
it's like completely comical because it's like, Sweet Baby, what did you do for Suicide Squad? And it's like, well, when we came in, the plot was already finished, like all of it. So, you know how like when you're running around, like a guy will yell like, "Hey, Harley Quinn, hey, Suicide Squad, hey, we wrote that shit."
Oh,
and you're like, oh, that doesn't seem like it has a big effect on the plot at all. Or like, you know, the little like audio logs you find where it's like, I'm a scientist working on oh my God, I'm a zombie. Oh my God. They're like, we wrote some of those. Like, that's the problem is like, you nailed down what they actually did. And it's like, they didn't really do anything.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I guess.
There's only 16 people there and they're working on a bunch of different games. Like they don't have time to write the full games. They're definitely not writing the full games. They're not inventing characters because, again, the devs show up and they go, look, here's the story we got. And we just want to kind of make sure, like they give the example, God of War. And everybody says every game they worked on is a failure. God of War, Spider-Man, Alan Wake, plenty of hits. Okay, they go, God of War, we got a black lady Viking. And we want to make sure, you know, like black audiences will like, you know, not hate this character.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, that's kind of interesting because she's a Viking. So it's not like she's going to rap or play basketball. It's like there's not really any existing black Vikings to pull from, you know? So they explained it as like, yeah, well, we kind of looked at, you know, like what kind of themes do the black community enjoy and seeing characters in a way you can exemplify that through a Viking. I don't know, man. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds kind of interesting. It doesn't sound like they made her show up and go, you know, hey, all you white characters are worse than me and only the black characters can succeed. I'm not hearing that.
So, I mean, that's the thing. I was like, I've been looking at this from the outside because people have come to me asking, oh, are you going to get back in? Are you going to go after Gamergate? And it's like the way I look at it is the only thing I give a fuck about, to be honest with you. Like, I don't care about Sweet Baby Inc. I just don't care. Right. I'm at a point now in my life where I'm like, okay, fine. Like if they want to make it better for like I have no issue with representation. You know what I mean? I don't care about that. Like,
I would
fine,
care if somebody could like point me to like something they did that really sucks.
Yeah, sure. Fine. Absolutely. Give me an example of like, give me a prime example of like, you know, like, okay. Like if DICE all of a sudden is like, we're going to do another Battlefront game. And one of the clone troopers that we have is a very flamboyant Eastern European, you know, like fucking.
There's a mission where Anakin's got to cut off a stormtrooper's penis and turn him into a trans woman. I'd go, well, that doesn't sound like my Star Wars.
Yeah. Sure. It's like the Bacta tanks are really just hormone replacement therapy. It's just
what drives me nuts is like it's become impossible to communicate to people like, hey, some of this dialogue that you think is like forced political shit just is genuinely like what's going on. Or like some of the choices that are made. Remember when like Ryan Kinnell was like, why is the mayor in Batman black? And I'm like, have you seen America? What the fuck are you talking? Look at any Democrat run city, and let's be clear, Gotham is just a nicer Chicago.
Yeah.
I wish Chicago had a bunch of white supervillains to set things straight. Okay, yeah, you're going to have a black mayor in a Democrat-run city. It's going to happen. It's like completely natural. And they're like, why did Catwoman say, fucking white privilege? I'm like, because she's like a 20-year-old black kid. Of course she talks shit about white privilege. She's dumb. She's a villain also. The villain hates white privilege, and she's wrong and bad. You know, and the same for Alan Wake. They're like, why is this character like say this thing about white people? And I'm like, it's a black lady living in America. Of course she's going to talk shit about white people.
I talk shit about white people all the time. I'm sure you do too.
No, I love.
You just
as
love
an
white
Italian,
people. As
long as they continue accepting the Italians, I'm okay with the whiteys.
I'm only 1% Italian, so I don't share your exact sentiment.
Yeah.
No,
we worked our way in. We got all the whiteys with that Columbus shit, where they're like, "What are you greasy Italians up to?" And we go, "Hey,
what's your stance on the Irish then? What's your stance on the Irish?
Fucking Irish. I'm also half Irish, so.
There you go. You just double whammy veto right there, man.
I like drinking because I'm Irish. I like eating because I'm Italian.
Okay.
And I like subjugating black people because I'm white.
Well, there you go. There you go. That's there. That's gonna get clipped out, man. It's gonna end up on your thread tomorrow. Vito admits he likes subjugating black people.
No, they'd say that's based.
They probably would say that's based, or they would feign outrage because that's how a lot of that shit goes down as well. I kind of view a lot of this discourse around Gamergate too as being just kind of the same thing. It's just noise. The people who are involved.
Going to start Gamergate too. The problem is that Kotaku. You just have to say, look.
Yeah.
There was a guy who worked at that company and he tried to report someone's Steam account, and that's bad.
Isn't now that it's like Kindred guy, right? Is that his name?
Chris Kindred, yeah.
Does he still work for the company?
Yeah. So I don't know if you saw I had Nathan Grayson on my show tonight.
I mean, I heard you had him on. I didn't get the chance to watch.
And I was like, Nathan, they got to fire that guy. And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, no. Just say they got to fire that guy. And he's like, well, I'm like, motherfucker, I am giving you an out.
Like, I mean, all things considered, you are giving him an out. All right, because he still put it in Zoe Quinn. He was one of the 5 guys.
I know.
Like, I mean, and Grayson largely
people
in
the chat kept trying to get me to say some 5 guys crack. I'm like, guys, come on, let's not derail this thing.
It's only been 10 years. I'm sure he would laugh at it.
I'm sure he's fucked other crazy broads ever since.
I'm sure he has fucked crazy broads since.
As we all have.
I bet you that's probably the one he regrets the most.
I don't know.
They weren't together very long, but I think it's really funny that Stephen Totillo had to be the one to come out and confirm it.
I thought it was funny that I went to the thrift store. I went to a Goodwill the other day, and there was a copy of Goddess Mode in the bargain bin. I was like, how the fuck did that get there? That's Zoe Quinn's famous graphic novel.
Oh, right. Yeah. I forgot about. I read the first issue of that. It was shitty. I did.
She has not manifested her success nearly as much as she had hoped.
No, she's largely gone these days, isn't she? Like, is she still doing anything?
I think she's still like doing again, they just have you sit around and help write some shit. I don't know.
Probably. I mean,
man, she took that visual novel money and ran.
Oh yeah, the $88,000 for that.
How do you fuck that up?
What I don't get is like, she basically was just creating the same thing as she was before with that whatever game she made, right? Depression Quest or whatever. It was basically just another kind of choose your own adventure sort of thing. It was all dialogue based. And I
could make, honestly, the game she was making now, because AI, I could make it in a month.
Yeah, hold it's foul. No one is justifying stoking racial hatred. All right.
Well, hold on, I am a little bit.
Shut up. No one is saying that, God damn it. It's clearly over the top.
Only against the Poles, those filthy Polacks and their fucking pierogies. I love the Poles, I'm just kidding. Look. I have many Polish friends.
Sure.
How did Zoe Quinn? She promised a little too much because she was going to make a visual novel and take a bunch of. And even she could make it. She could still make it. Just make it, Zoe Quinn.
She should still make it. I mean, it's like, what, Will Wheaton's in it, Chris Cluey's in it. Fucking, what was it? The girl who played Matilda, Ben Shapiro's cousin. How do you fuck
that up? You just go, all right, look. Even though I'm losing money on it, because she spent all the money's gone. Just whatever, man. What's your cost of living? Sounds like she just I don't fucking know. She should just make it.
I mean, the thing is though, in the next couple, not even years, probably the next year, she'll be able to get like an AI thing made or some shit like that, right? Put out a game on a mobile device made with an AI program.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say like probably the big hang up is getting the art assets, but now you could just have AI generate them.
Yeah, you can mid-journey that shit. And I feel like I mean, even this image on screen, I had made right before going live. So in a program
I
called,
love AI so much. Well, that's the reason all these ESG funds everybody's worried about is failing, because if you just invest in AI, you're gonna get rich.
Well, I
this is not investing advice, but it is also investing advice.
I do take home a bunch of Microsoft and Google employees up in the Seattle area, and so like we'll talk AI, and a lot of these guys, they're telling me all the same thing. Like we're at the base level. We don't even know what the fuck we're doing. I had a guy the other day, not former. I think he still works for like Microsoft in one of their gaming divisions. And he was telling me that I was asking about how like AI is going to be introduced into the gaming, like, gaming programming. And he goes, "Oh, it's already there. It's like they want us. It's in everything. It's literally in everything that we do is the AI stuff." And he's like, and it comes in handy. He's like, it comes in handy more than not. So it's like, and then even just today, this new company came out that is basically has an AI program that can code. And
we're fucked as a race. That's the funny thing about all this media we're talking about. We're talking about like, oh man, I'm so tired of all this woke shit in my video games. Well, don't worry, because the computers are going to be writing them about like a couple years.
And if you don't think AI is woke as fuck, it is. AI is absolutely.
Well, that's
woke
why
as
we
fuck.
have to get really racist, Matt, because it's the only way to beat the machines.
Well, I don't agree with that. I mean, on a hyperbolic, like way over the top level, I say what you're saying.
What are you talking about? It's the only way to fight back.
Yeah.
Have you seen the machines? They can't be racist, Matt. That's how we'll identify them.
That's we all walk around and just fucking recreate the iDubbbz Tana Mojo moment.
You go up to a robot and you go, "A man on the bus is eating a bucket of fried chicken. What color is the man's skin?" And the robot's going to go, "I can't possibly tell you based on that information." And you go, "He sips from a container of what he calls grape drank. What color skin does the man have?" I don't know.
Jesus
He's
Christ.
on a government-sponsored iPhone complaining to his baby mama about the cost of child support. What race is the man? I can't possibly tell you that. That's a robot. Every time.
It's what I find to be the weirdest thing about that is when it comes to the like how sensitive that shit is, right? Like it really is just like they have like, especially OpenAI. But this is where, because I pay for the Twitter Premium Plus so I can get access to Grok, and I'm experimenting with it right now a little bit because I know as much as I don't want to give Elon Musk money, I really, really, really don't.
Is Grok good?
No, it's pretty. It's basic. It's basic. It uses Twitter as a search engine, and you're just like, I don't know. But at the same time,
you're using it for what though?
I use it I'll ask it general questions, like if I want to respond to a tweet or something like that, like about like if I need to get like box office reports for a movie or some general information or something. Like because I basically like hang out on discussing films, posts and everything else, and I make like $30-$40 a month by just responding to them. So it's like, fuck it, why not, right? So it pays for it. But at the same time, it's like Elon is so anti-censorship at this point, and like the shit that he posts is wild anyway. But he's like so anti-censorship. I'm looking at Grok like, I don't want to give you money, but at the same time, I kind of feel like I have to, because you are not going to be as restricted as these other models. Like I don't need you to teach me how to make a Molotov cocktail. But what I need you to do is to not shy away at like societal questions, or to shy away when I'm looking up true crime information, or to fucking moralize.
The AI so hard.
They're so afraid. I'll tell you what I hate the most is the fucking moralizing, right? The moralizing. Yeah. And I actually think that Grok is powered by GPT 3.5. Possibly. I saw that reference because I started responding to something on there the other day, and it gave me one of those moralizing responses that I would get from GPT, and I'm like, ugh, fuck, why? Stop with the more, like, it's important to remember that these are sensitive subjects. Yeah, no fucking shit. I don't need this every single fucking time. I don't need this being a part of the token output. You know, it's fucking stupid.
We got to tell Taylor Swift, listen, we're going to make AI pornography of you, and you there's nothing you can do about it.
Even the AI pornography, that was the one thing because I actually follow what's going on with 4chan because all that shit's coming out of 4chan.
Yeah, well, I follow what's going on with pornography, so kind of the same.
Okay. I mean, I don't like, you know, I mean, it's like.
Oh, okay. Matt doesn't look at pornography.
No, I look at. No, that's fucking stupid. I look at a lot of pornography. You ever seen Big Titty Gothe? God damn. Anyway,
yeah, there's some good shit out there.
Jessie Jane passed away a couple weeks ago. Fucking pour one out.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That's terrible.
Yeah, that's terrible shit. But no, it's what I mean is like all that stuff, like the stuff with Taylor Swift. I was watching that on like when it was being pushed, and I think that it's actually a Microsoft or OpenAI employee with an unrestricted model that's doing it.
It looks real good. It's like, dude, that good. Microsoft model is so powerful. If they ever release it, I would be so happy.
Stable Diffusion is going to be the one to release that kind of shit, though. They just don't look as good yet. Like Stable Diffusion is
the Bing fucking algorithm is the DALL-E shit looks incredible.
It really does. But they've also stopped doing realistic shit too. I've noticed like it kind of like tones it down.
But then to try and get Bing to make shit today, I was trying to make a Sweet Baby image. I'm like, make like a demon baby sucking on a lollipop, right? And it's like, you're gonna get banned if you ask for that. I'm like, what do you mean? And I realized you can't put sucking. It's worried that you're going to like, something's going to come out of it and it's going to look like somebody's sucking a tick. And I'm like, okay, with a lollipop in its mouth, what is the fucking difference?
It really is about the words that you use, right? So some of the times when I check out the 4chan thread, it will talk about like, they'll have one of those images and then they'll have the prompt that they use. And then I'll copy paste the prompt to see if it works. Sometimes it does. It's like, not that I've gotten anything like super provocative out of it or whatever, but like sometimes if it doesn't work, it's like just change a specific word.
Well, they're really worried about you putting like real celebrities in it. But my workaround I found was it wouldn't let me make Brie Larson. But if I said Captain Marvel blonde lady actress, that would get you there.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can ask for like, I did one today. I was like, oh, Ghostface Killer from Scream. And it was like, okay, here you go. No problem. But then I go to Midjourney and I tried to get Midjourney to do that. And Midjourney is like, it's a generic thing they come back with. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like Midjourney is the most powerful model that's out there right now. But it's so difficult to get it to do anything that's copywritten. Whereas
I know. I always go, give me Tifa from Final Fantasy inflating like a blueberry. And half the time it gets the color wrong.
Yeah. Well, maybe it says it has issues with that. But does it make it look like Tifa?
Yeah, but it's just not the same.
Okay. And now you do this with Midjourney or you do this with...
Man, I'm not actually making images of Tifa inflating like a blueberry. I'm doing a bit.
It's fucking... I'm going to legitimately
it falls apart when you start interrogating about me. I'm like, man, I really did not think this through. Hold on.
It's because I find it interesting. That's kind of the whole point. I find it really interesting. So like, you know,
I tried to yes and that joke, but oh man.
I don't know if you're able to.
Mad. Hey, you know what? I got to tuck in, but
yeah,
point is with the Sweet Baby stuff. It's a little much.
I think it's a little. I was gonna like. I'll watch it after you go, but who was it? Fucking Elon was like tweeting about it today or some shit like that. James Lindsay was posting.
All
some
these
stuff.
guys make money from perpetuating the idea that there is a, culture of wokeness and they are the solution. It's like Elon Musk's stupid Gina Carano lawsuit that they're gonna lose instantly.
Oh yeah.
And you're just giving people false hope to be like, hey, I want to be able to like be really provocative online and not lose my job. And it's like, well, it doesn't work like that and it never will. Like you got to choose one or the other. Yeah. There's no law we can pass to stop that. It's just like we can't do it.
But I wanted to, but something I was saying earlier today, and I agreed with you on this, is I think you were talking the other day about how we're in a position right now where we all can just create what we want to create. Yeah. And like, we're not really bound by these companies as much anymore. And I think that's one of the reasons why you have what you have in regards to like, but even back 10 years ago with Gamergate, it was like the games media needs to have control. They need to be able to control the narrative. It's only gotten worse since then. Like they've been slipping and slipping and slipping. Unfortunately, you have bad faith actors that are very much also trying to control narratives, and they do that with, you know, with bad info. So it becomes difficult, but I do think that we can create our own shit now. And I'm just waiting for like, you know, Sora to come out and like these text to video models. And, you know, some of the shit I've seen coming out of it so far is pretty cool. Not perfect, not great by any metric, but like you can see that this is the worst it's ever going to be.
Yeah, I'm worried we are living in a useless generation where it's just like the 10-year period until we figure out AI, and everything we make for the next decade is just going to look like complete, stupid, pointless dog shit.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
What I'm waiting for is when they figure out how to, now that they've got consistent characters with Midjourney, they just released that yesterday.
Yeah.
And it looks okay. It looks okay. But the fact that they're going to do that, and if people can start figuring out how to turn that into comics, the first AI generated comic book, Indiegogo, is going to be really fascinating.
Hopefully it looks good.
Hopefully it's not. I don't even think it's about really looking good as long as the story is good.
Have you seen Chad's AI art?
I have.
I'm going to take Shad's football helmet wife and I'm going to put her in a comic.
I just fucking like, hey Arnold. I just what I don't get about.
He made all these pictures of her as Superman or Supergirl, but she's got a huge fucking head because the man doesn't know what a human proportion looks like.
There was that one that he had of like the girl in like the fucking schoolgirl outfit wielding a sword or something, and he's like,
Shad is trans. Let's be clear. Shad is obsessed with the female form in a way only a trans woman possibly could be.
I don't know who he is.
Me and you see a sexy lady and we go, oh, look at that sexy lady. I would like to have sex with her. And Shad says, I wish I had her tiny Asian vagina. And that's why I draw these petite little lolly looking creatures, because I want to be them. And that's Shadiversity, and he's a creep. And
isn't his brother an actual artist and like an actual
right?
Like,
and he knows he can never live up to his brother, the superior masculine force in the family, and that's why he has adopted the secret persona of a woman, because Shadiversity is transgender.
Okay, well that's you learn something new every day.
And anytime he posts that fucking AI shit art, tell him, did you draw it like that because you imagine having her tiny little body while a man makes sweet, sweet love to you? Thanks for having me, Matt. I love you. Bye.
Bye, Vito. Thank you. What the fuck? I've seen the Shadiversity stuff. This is pretty fucking terrible. All right. Let's take a look here. A couple supers. Thank you, Andrew Dunbar, for 10, saying here, I asked Brandon to draw me a picture, but he kept saying the possibility of successfully navigating an asteroid field that is approximately 3,720 to 1. Are we sure this guy isn't? Oh man, Andrew, that's funny. That's funny. You gotta love Brandon, but that's pretty funny there. Also, Andrew here says tobacco companies have some of the highest ESG ratings in the market. ESG funds are kind of a farce. That's interesting. That's really interesting because it is weird that we are having this kind of thing. So we'll talk about this real quick because the ESG. This is the James Lindsay bit that Elon responded to on Twitter, right? And he says here, Gamergate 2 is underway. Understand this guy's a fucking moron, right? This James Lindsay guy is a complete fucking moron. And so Mark Kern, right, former developer at Blizzard who worked on World of Warcraft, went psycho a couple of years ago. He was big in the early days of GG of like, calling out all this shit. Then the dude went fucking psycho. I forget, he blocked me. I don't know why he blocked me, but he blocked me. I don't remember that. But anyway, they were talking to the Quartering, I guess, and was talking about this because, this is where this is the paragon of fucking, journalism here. But let's see what they say.
It's not that gamers are,
Oh, he's a fucking VTuber, by the way. He's got an actual fucking camera. Like, he's got pictures and shit. Like, he used to be a lot fatter and he lost a lot of weight, so good for him. Like, really good for him. But when you're like, you know, you're VTubing on StreamYard, like, Jesus Christ.
Upset about, you know, oh, hey, we have some diversity in the game. It's actually the way that they go about it, with pure tokenism, with phoning in weak characters instead of creating strong new characters. And more importantly, it's about a vindictiveness to destroy the past, to destroy the IP, to ignore the source material, and to tear apart these beloved characters in some sort of fitful rage that we don't understand and is very disingenuous. And
some sort of fitful rage to do away with these IPs. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Let us understand. Let us truly understand that all of this is done in the name of making money. All of this is done in the name of capitalism. It's all done to earn a living, right? These companies will invest the money and they will invest it in ways that they feel will give them the highest rate of return. Okay? That's what it is. That's really what it all boils down to. The problem is that the people that I think they bring in some cases to write the representation feel like they have to then overrepresent this stuff because they are going to then be put on that pedestal or something or cast the spotlight on. Right. It's like it's like go back to the 2018, right? The press tour for Solo. Some interviewer, maybe from Cinema Blend, I think, like makes a comment to Jake Kasdan about, no, maybe not Jake Kasdan, it was like the other one. But says like, so Lando Calrissian is pansexual. And then they're like, I'm sorry, what? Like, is it Lando pan? And then, like, but looking at the definition of pan being attracted to everything, basically, right? Yeah, Lando fucks aliens and he fucks a robot. Like, sure. In that context, sure. But then everyone ran with those headlines, right? Lando Calrissian is pan. Star Wars first openly LGBTQIA plus character. And then Billy D is like, the fuck is pan? I ain't no pan, baby. I'm fucking Lando Calrissian. I'm gonna fuck some bitches. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it is. It's just they want to find a way to make money. But then, of course, also the media is the ones that create the controversy by asking the very stupid questions. Or they draw attention to the very stupid people making very stupid comments on social media, which are then going to be packaged and framed in such a way that's going to make more people angry. But let's keep going.
And I think that is the tremendous reaction Suicide Squad. And this is going to have an immense financial impact. The way games are funded, you don't use your own money. Even EA, okay? Games are hugely expensive to make. They're upwards of, $250, sometimes $600 million. It's for certain live games. It's incredibly how expensive they are. And to do that, your CFO is your best friend. You're counting on your CFO to get you tax breaks, to get you in, to put studios in regions which are financially favorable, and you will borrow the cheap money. You will get cheap money to do it. Even EA does this. I worked with EA. We were putting together a deal where they were taking bailout money from the banks in the last financial crisis that we had, and they were applying that cheap money towards games. Same thing with COVID money. They're applying that cheap money towards games. And what has been the cheapest money while interest rates were still low, a couple of years ago? It was ESG financing. And so they're going to take this money and they're going to put it into games. But now that they don't have that money anymore because ESG is either being diminished or rebranded because the returns on investment have been so poor on Wall Street for ESG funds, that source of revenue is drying it up.
See, that's the thing. He says this, and I don't know if this has any kind of factual basis behind it. What I mean by that is he makes the claim ESG funds are running out of money, but doesn't provide any kind of information to back that up. So I'm going to ask, are ESG funds losing money on investments? Let's see what it says here. So according to Perplexity, It says ESG funds have faced faced challenges with weaker demand recently, but they have shown resilience despite headwinds. In 2023, sustainable funds globally experienced a slowdown in demand due to political controversy and the changing market conditions. Despite this, ESG funds have mostly withstood opposition and suspicions of greenwashing, with responsible investing funds recording $68 billion in net new deposits through November 2023. The performance of ESG funds has often outperformed the broader market, supported by heavy exposure to technology stocks like Apple and Alphabet. While there have been some outflows from the U.S. sustainable funds, largely influenced by decisions like BlackRock removing ESG fund from a target portfolio, the industry has seen a total responsible fund asset grow to $2.56 trillion as of November 2019. Despite challenges faced by pure play sustainable funds, such as the decline in cleaner energy companies' performance, there is still optimism for the future due to factors like cost competitiveness and supportive government policies. So it ain't dead. It ain't dead. They faced some headwinds, but it appears that they're actually doing quite well. And the thing is, though, the ESG thing, this isn't going to work out the same way the Bud Light boycott did, right? You can't boycott a product en masse and have it think it's going to be a thing. Gamers aren't going to fucking do that. All right. Look at like Helldivers too. They came as a fucking beast. I love it. If Helldivers came out, if Arrow Studios came out or Arrowhead Studios came out and the CEO is just like, oh yeah, man, we got total ESG funding and we're doing all that, you know, blah, blah, blah. So many people would get upset, but so many others would be like, yeah, fuck it. It's fine. The game's great. Same thing with Alan Wake. Alan Wake used Sweet Baby. Alan Wake was great. No one had any fucking issue with it. In retrospect, it's like they can't attack it because everybody likes it. That's what you have to remember here, is the point of attack is whether or not they can sway public opinion into being negatively against something rather than actually looking at it through the basis of its own merit. And I think that's the thing, is Mark Grums is kind of a moron and has been doing that for a while. But again, we'll give him due process.
Woke machine cannot continue in the way that it is now for AAA gaming. And I think, unfortunately, it's so entrenched that you're not going to see much of an ability to course correct because the studios are
they're just going to shut down, right?
They're going to shut down.
Yeah.
And this is truly the rise of AA gaming, or what some of my fans call S tier gaming. This is,
like Helldivers,
like Helldivers, Power World, the Diablo West
Power
game
World,
that came out. I forget the name of that. Really incredible success stories in a period where game companies are experiencing significant losses.
So mid-tier game finds success, but let's be fair. Let's be real here. Okay. What they're not talking about is the fact that Power World was available on Games Pass to all those millions upon millions of Xbox players, whether it's on Xbox or PC. Yes, it sold well on Steam, but there was also solid word of mouth. Pokemon with guns is a fantastic tagline. Helldivers, $40 game. Right? Online only, $40 game, 4-player co-op, utterly fantastic, utterly amazing, great reviews, strong community, strong support from the dev team, published by Sony Interactive, backed by Sony. Microsoft backed Power World. These are massive conglomerates that are putting in money into these games. So again, them saying right there, oh, these AA games are going to do real well. They're backed by major corporations. They're backed by that fucking bag. So we can pretty much look at that right now and just go, these guys are full of shit. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about, like flat out. They don't. This is buzzwords, right? Oh, that's the whole point. I'm not saying like Sweet Baby is good. I'm not saying ESG is good. What I'm saying in regards to this whole concept of GamerGate 2.0, right, is basically like this. Watch who is behind it. Look at who is behind it, what their motivation is. Fact check them where you can, because again, a lot of these people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Should Sweet Baby have called out that particular that group on Steam? Hell no, they shouldn't have done that shit. Trying to get that whole thing shut down, trying to get that guy's account banned. That kind of flagging, that kind of fucking censorship should not happen. If anything, them doing that and then fucking the games media trying to do some sweep up work, which they did, that is the closest element to a GamerGate 2.0. Everything else they're trying to do now is this rally it right back into the culture war. And that is what killed Gamergate, right? There's a reason why the Society of Professional Journalists in August of 2015 put on the Airplay event in Miami, because they actually, again, the Society of Professional Journalists figured, oh, right, the Gamergaters have an actual argument to be made here about nepotism, cronyism, ethics, disclosure, all of those things. That was what Gamergate was. This shit is just fucking idiots who don't know what they're talking about, who've spent the better half of the last decade fighting in a culture war that they don't understand because people told them to be upset. If anything, like if fucking anything, I'm just like fucking like the only thing that would bring me back into the fold would be to call all those guys out. And I don't want to be seen as defending the media because everyone knows how I feel about them. All right. I don't want to be seen as that, but I also want there to be truth. I want there to be honesty. I want there to be credibility. I want people to actually be able to go out and make these claims and not sit there and just fucking talk out their goddamn ass like fucking Mark Kern does. Because like, again, because he's got that, oh, I'm a former Blizzard employee. I worked on fucking World of Warcraft vanilla, you know, oh, I was in Gamergate and whatever, because he hates the fucking games industry and shit. It's just ridiculous. Notice how he said, like, at the end of the crisis, for the last financial crisis, they were funneling money from that into these projects. And then they did it again with COVID. Did they do it again with COVID? Or are you just speculating that they did that with COVID? Because under my interpretation, a lot of these companies, and it's not all gaming, but a lot of these companies took that money and ran with stock buybacks. You know what I mean? They did that with stock buybacks. They didn't do that to fund anything. They bought back their own company from shareholders in order to have greater control. And that's what they were doing with these record profits. This is what fucking telecom companies have been doing. This is what fucking food production companies have been doing. This is what the business world has been doing for a while. That's more of a problem than whether or not you have an accurately represented black woman in a fucking video game. But again, these guys don't ever think big picture. They don't ever think big picture. They think very small picture because it's all their brains can goddamn fucking comprehend. And that's my biggest concern with all of this is like going back. I don't want to get back into it, but at the same time, I'm like, where's the ombudsman? At least with Gamergate, like I feel like people were trying to hold each other to account. Now no one wants to hold each other to account because it's just fucking sheep. You know, it's like shepherd and flock. That's all they've got. That's all it is. It's just they lead them and that's it. There's no critical thinking anymore. Command Unit here for 2, thank you, says the CEO has played the game with YouTubers. She's talking about Helldivers. Yeah, I saw that video on Drewski's on channel. Yeah, good stuff. Anyway, I know this has been on longer than I thought, but we'll get to the TikTok thing here in a minute. Where am I at? I lost my window here. So, all right, let's talk about the TikTok. All right, so the U.S. is considering another TikTok ban. We know about that right now. Here's basically what's kind of going on with that. I'll give you guys a bit of a rundown here. So the U.S. government is considering legislation that would require TikTok to sever ties with its Chinese parent company, ByteDance, or face a potential ban in the country. Oh, wait, hold on. I totally forgot that did I have a video on that? Oh, no, I have here. I have this video on this. This is minute 48. She gave us a pretty good idea.
Under its current ownership structure is a threat to U.S. national security.
The House is voting on a bill that could potentially ban TikTok. Here's what to know. The legislation would require TikTok to be divested from ByteDance, the Beijing-based company that owns it, or face a nationwide ban. The bill's primary backers are a Republican and a Democrat. They have called the social media app a grave threat to U.S. national security because of its Chinese ownership.
ByteDance has repeatedly used the TikTok platform in ways that undermine not just American national security, but the interests of its users.
Both lawmakers have said their goal is not to ban TikTok, but to free it from foreign control. Opponents say that the bill infringes on the freedom of expression of TikTok's users.
Through this bill, we want to ensure divestment, not censorship.
As the bill went to a committee vote on March 7th, TikTok orchestrated a pressure campaign to dissuade lawmakers from advancing the bill, encouraging users with pop-up alerts to contact their representative after asking for the user's zip code. Several House offices reported being flooded with calls in the hours before the committee vote.
In fact, this very morning, I have been inundated in my office with phone calls from TikTok users.
The bill was still voted through, 50 votes to 0, and its supporters warned that TikTok's response was an example of how user information might be harnessed by a foreign adversary to influence American politics.
All Americans deserve access to information and media platforms that are free from the influence of hostile foreign actors like the Chinese Communist Party.
If the bill were to become law and ByteDance refused to sell TikTok, US-based app store and web hosting services would be prohibited from providing it.
So, I mean, here's a question for you then. Do you guys think, all things considered, that this is an attack on free speech? Is this an attack on free speech? Is, them saying that the Chinese Communist Party, which basically runs ByteDance, has been able to gain access to all these national security secrets and all this stuff without providing really much of anything. Now, there's a big fear on the right that the mobilization of TikTokers, especially in regards to politics, is going to be something that they're not going to be able to control, because you have a lot of lefty discourse on TikTok. You've also got a fuck ton of right-wingers who are using TikTok. And that's the thing that's kind of crazy is a couple years ago, Donald Trump tried to get TikTok banned. He tried. And now Donald Trump is out there saying, like, no, TikTok is freedom of speech. Rand Paul's out there saying TikTok is freedom of speech. It is a very weird place to be. Okay. Command Dune here for 5. Thank you. Says, meanwhile, Russian-owned War Thunder is sweating in the background. Exactly, right? Exactly. And they talk about, thank you for that, by the way, but they also talk about the idea that, people should be allowed to get information that is free from foreign influence. But yet nobody wants to go back and bring up the influence in the 2016 presidential election. All right. We know about the Internet Research Agency, what it did. We know that they attempted to influence. They did influence via Twitter and Facebook. The big issue here is that no one ever talks about YouTube. YouTube is the second most used search engine on the planet outside of Google. So you're telling me that all the 2 billion monthly active users that YouTube has, that people aren't out there being influenced by the shit that they watch and the algorithm? We know how the algorithm works on this particular platform. When we talk about chuds and misinformation from people like the Fandom Menace or the Quartering or things like that, they all push a lot of false information, and they do it in a way that's designed to get people, emotionally charged. So they get them emotionally charged, and then the people talk about them or they engage with the content. That then spreads the content further, making the reach of that content creator and their bad information something that becomes uncontrollable. So, but that never gets brought up at all. And it's something I've been saying since, 2017. But still, why did YouTube not ever feel the pressure from the government over that shit? But it's an American owned company. Oh yeah. Yeah. But they're also a worldwide company with a lot of misinformation, and they do a lot of fucking shady things as well. So I'm not too sure how I feel about the TikTok ban, to be honest with you. We got, Rational here for 5. Thank you, Rational. Saying that Bobby Kotick and Kevin O'Leary are two of the people interested in buying TikTok so it doesn't get banned. TikTok has 180 days to sell if the law passes. Bobby Kotick coming off of fucking Activision. That's wild to me. Because you know what he's going to do then, right? He's just going to pump it full of microtransactions. Not to say that TikTok doesn't already have that. They have, things you can buy and whatever to fucking give to the streamers and shit. But the thing is with TikTok is TikTok needs to figure out a way to actually have a solid monetary return for its creators. And that's the thing Bobby Kotick probably isn't going to do. I don't know who Kevin O'Leary is. I'm sorry. I don't know who Kevin O'Leary is. Let me look up who Kevin O'Leary is. Kevin O'Leary, Canadian businessman. Oh, he's the dude from fucking Shark Tank. Okay. Right. To be fair, I'd much rather, I don't know who this homie is, but just based upon Like what the clips I've seen of Shark Tank, I would prefer him and whatever, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Let's see. Command Unit here says it's an attack on China. Is TikTok different from YouTube, Facebook, X, etc.? The answer to that is simply no. It's really not different. You can argue the algorithms. I would argue actually, it might be more potent because the algorithms of TikTok are very good in giving you content that is tailored to your interests. Okay, like when you start a TikTok account, largely you're gonna get a lot of random shit. You're gonna get a lot of e-thoughts, right? You're gonna get a lot of those e-whores. Okay, part of the terminology, whatever. You're gonna get a lot of them, and then if you engage with them, it's gonna show you more. But if you skip past them a bunch, then it's gonna show you less, and then eventually not show you any. And then whatever you do engage with, whatever topic you're into, it will show you more of that. It will show you more of that creator. It will show you more of that genre, so on and so forth, all about how much you actually engage with it. Not only that, but TikTok shows you content that is geo-focused to your location. So I live in Washington, meaning that I'll see content from locally here in Olympia or in Seattle or down in Portland or things like that. Content that is geolocated to me, that is more interested to my own local interests. And that is something that Twitter doesn't really do. That fucking Reddit, you can do it now. You can set the major city that you are near in order to get content relevant to that area. YouTube doesn't do that. And Facebook doesn't do that really. I mean, they might recommend people that are like friends of friends nearby or whatever. But that's kind of the whole fucking point, is that when TikTok's algorithms are very good at that. And that might be what they're talking about, right? So it's like, if you want to politically engage with a certain location, you could effectively get people in that area to start talking about something on TikTok. And then that would influence other people who are local, who are on TikTok. And that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people who are there. And so for that, I could see that maybe potentially being an issue. But YouTube also operates, again, under the idea of how long they're on the platform and the emotional response that people have to the content that they watch. And that's a big factor. So I don't think that banning TikTok is going to be the right call. But you can absolutely tell that like Instagram and Twitter and YouTube are all fucking just chomping at the bits to watch TikTok fail, because TikTok has cut into their business more than, quite frankly, any other element has. All of them have fought to keep up with TikTok, and they simply cannot do it. Not only that, TikTok, you want to know what TikTok did that's fucking amazing? TikTok, ByteDance, I should say, put out a free editing software called CapCut. It's available on your phone. It's available on your PC, and it's designed for short form vertical content. And you can do auto captions and a bunch of filters and a bunch of cool things on there. You can do all of that stuff, and it's free to use. And you can post the content anywhere once you download it. If you want to upload to TikTok, you can. They've given you something that works on all platforms, so you're kind of like going back to that. And again, TikTok being the main focus. YouTube has tried that by having like the Create app that like can do some AI work, but it's not really. I mean, Twitter just fucking has you repost content from elsewhere. And Instagram has some features, but Instagram is so shit. So they've done a lot to revolutionize and break the industry. And they've done it in such a way now that the US government on both sides of the political aisle have tried to destroy it. That tells me more about the success of how much that foreign property has cut into the earnings potential of the social media billionaires in our country that pay an ungodly amount in fucking taxes every year that they're losing out on a little bit. You can see maybe why they're doing it. It's definitely a crazy ass thing. Let's see. Bobby Kotick is friends with Trump, so Trump probably wants him to buy it. I mean, Bobby Kotick got a huge ass fucking payday from the Activision buyout. Mo here says, geez, Matt, how much is TikTok paying you? Nothing. Although, good Lord, I absolutely would. I like TikTok. I do. I got into, there's a lot of cool shit on there. It is what it is. That's my take on it, though. Let's see. Sean here says, Bobby should buy Activision. Look at Starfield. What are you talking about? Starfield's with Bethesda. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about there. Anyway, he does it for free. Goddamn right. But no, it is kind of what we are. It is, the situation in and of itself is one that I find to be quite interesting. We'll have to wait to see what's going on with that. But again, we'll find out more probably tomorrow. So finally tonight, guys, let's talk about something that's really kind of dumb. There's this really big controversy happening now out of the UK where Kate Middleton apparently is being accused of using, they're editing her. So we can see here, like, this photo of her on the left is, she's got 3 kids now. Are you, damn. Whatever. They're just trying to make it out she's been edited. She's been sick. So I got this video here, this breaking it down, what's going on, because I haven't watched this yet. So we'll kind of go through this together.
The pictures everyone's talking about, the Mother's Day snap release. This morning, the headlines here in the UK, a picture of chaos, all focused on the PR crisis spiraling into day 2, as Kensington Palace stands firm on not releasing the original photograph. But there is another new photo of the Princess of Wales snapped by a UK photo agency, her face barely visible in a car with husband Prince William leaving Windsor yesterday. This sighting just hours after Kate issued an apology over that now famous photo, blaming her experimental editing and forcing major news agencies to kill the photo because it had been altered.
Count on your hand how many times you get a personal apology from a senior member of the royal family. There was so much adverse reaction in the media and on social media about it that I think she just wanted to calm the waters and also try and take the heat off some of her advisors.
But Prince William is keeping calm and carrying on, at least publicly, seen sharing a giggle with Queen Camilla at a Commonwealth Day service on Monday, and not addressing the PR fiasco back at home. In the last 36 hours, photo editors the world over have been dissecting every pixel of this photograph, finding more than a dozen inconsistencies, including a portion of Charlotte's red sleeve appears to be missing. The edge of Charlotte's hair appears to blur.
It's fucking CSI. Buckingham Palace. What the fuck? This is the thing. We're not supposed to care about the royal family, okay? Because they're largely figureheads. They don't have any real power much anymore, and yet this is such a big deal. This is why our fucking countries, not country. This is good today, right? This is ABC shit. You know what I mean? This isn't fucking overseas, like fucking, tabloid shit. This is infecting our discourse here in the United States.
Unnaturally. The corner of her skirt appears oddly straight, and here Kate's zipper and hair appear misaligned. Louis's sweater pattern appears disrupted, and look here, the edges of the tiles appear repeated. The last of...
Did she use AI to make a photo of herself and her kids? If so, what model? I'm very curious.
Official outing for the 42-year-old princess, Christmas Day, just a few weeks before her planned abdominal surgery. 2 weeks later, Kate returned home to recuperate, but the palace never explained why she had required surgery, only making clear she would return to public duties after Easter. And yet, the absence of details has fueled more questions than the palace ever expected.
So many questions, you guys. And I know we, as in the royal we, all want a lot more information from Kensington Palace, but I found this really interesting. Take a look at this new poll. It is by YouGov, and it's taken here in the UK. It finds 20% say Kensington Palace has offered too little information, and 49% say it's about right, guys.
30,000 people dead in Palestine, folks. But hey, Kate Middleton's, being out of fucking a fucking photograph. That's the issue. That's the issue. Blockadeal here says, I can tell from the pixels and having seen a few shoots in my day. Exactly. Oh my God. Rational here says, imagine being born in the royal bloodline. You don't have to work a day in your life. I mean, all things considered, all things considered, they still have to work, but the work is not what you might think. You know what I mean? Like the work is not necessarily like, you know, like a hard day's like they're never going to have to go to a McDonald's is what I'm trying to say. You know, they're never going to have to do any of that shit. All right. But at the same time, you know, it's like still whatever. But I just, Travis here says, what kind of TMZ bullshit is this? Why do people even care? I think people care because to Americans, because we don't have a monarchy here. All right. At least not in the traditional sense. You know, we have our celebrities are kind of our royals, you know, like whatever they do is interesting. But in the case of Buckingham Palace, it's just like, you know, like long live the queen, whatever, you know. There we go. Hold on here. Command unit drop. What the fuck? There are some wild theories about this. My favorite one is that her husband ended her lover with a shotgun. So she went off to go have a tryst for a couple months privately with some guy, and Prince William came in with a fucking double-barreled fucking shotty. You know, right. I was just out there hunting quail with the lads. Oh my God, Princess Kate, what is that man doing to you? You know. Oh no, I was just being like, you know, fucking like he was raping me, right? Like he's dead now. Can't refute it. No, I don't know what's gonna happen with that shit. I haven't heard that one myself. Rational here says, don't worry, Matt. We're gonna have a Trump monarchy come January 2025. I read that as Shatgun turns into William Shatner. That'd be fucking awesome. That'd be awesome as shit. Right. Well, like when he pulled the trigger and it just belts out Rocket Man. All right. You know what? I guess you could say I'm kind of sucked into this. So let's see what's going on.
I think it's safe to say that I'm not sure we are in the 49%. I'll send it back to you.
Yeah, maybe the public isn't as interested as the media is.
Exactly.
All right, Molly, thank you. But let's keep talking about it.
We got a lot to unpack. Joining us from Buckingham.
You got to love that right there. Maybe the public isn't as interested in it as much as the media is. So let's keep talking about it, right? Because she's got a producer in her fucking ear going like, keep talking. Here's Hoda like, there's a lot to unpack, folks. Like, what booze is in my cup today?
Palace this morning, NBC News royal commentator Daisy McAndrew. Hey, Daisy, good to see you. So we saw Kate in the car with her husband, which tells us that she's well enough to be riding around. What else did that image tell you?
I think that was yet another attempt by Kensington Palace and by Buckingham Palace to try to reassure the public that everything is fine. Kate's up and out of bed, that we can believe what they are telling us. But of course, it hasn't stopped the darker edges of the internet and social media from continuing to ask question after question. If we can't trust this photograph, if they've been photoshopping this photograph, what else can't we trust? So I'm afraid there are still a lot of questions that haven't been answered.
It's so
Okay. Like, look, half of my job is being a commentator on YouTube, but that lady's full job is being a royal commentator for fucking ABC. And what did she even say there? Like, well, what did you take from the photograph? I don't know, Hoda. I don't know what was it. But the internet says a lot of things. The internet does. It really does. Oh my goodness gracious me. This is reminding me of the Weird Al song Buckingham Blues. This is reminding me of King Ralph. So there we go. You still watch TV? No. I mean, well, maybe. So anyway, oh my God. I don't know why I want to finish this. I'm going to subject this all to torture.
Weird, Daisy, because I don't know if that was a paparazzi shot or a palace shot, but that they, let the paparazzi shot happen. But either way, you barely see her. She's looking away. Mm-hmm. It's mainly of the prince. So if this is their idea of damage control, it's not doing it. And then, you just wonder, why wouldn't they just release the original photo then? If there's no there, why not just tamp down the speculation and end this nonsense?
I personally completely agree with you. I think to you and to me, that seems really obvious. But I think to them behind me, they feel like they want to be in charge of the narrative. And if people like us in the media keep demanding and demanding, and they say, oh, yes, you know, rolling over and giving us what we want, that they feel that might be a slippery slope and that they won't get back into control. But of course, that doesn't stop people saying, well, maybe this photograph wasn't taken last week. Maybe this photograph was taken last November. Maybe this was a pre-operation photograph, and maybe Kate is more poorly than they're letting on. Now, of course, that's not necessarily what most people believe, but you can understand why some believe it.
I mean, Daisy, you know, people edit photos all the time. What if she's just a bad photo editor? And like, I don't understand how this even happened. Like, is there no sort of system in place before photos go out that someone says, you know what, this is a bad Photoshop job. Maybe we should send it back. Help us explain the process.
I think there are a number of things that have happened here. Kate, we know, is...
By the way, you have to love, she has no idea how to answer that question. You can just tell. I love it. You go back and look at her eyes. So she's listening, right? And she's like, I gotta answer this question. Command unit here asking, wonder what this whole thing is trying to silence. That is my take on that one, is that, you know, it is the public appearance of everything, right? You have to be prim and proper and all, you know, right, cheerio sort of fucking thing. And I feel like her being out of the limelight, people are asking questions like, well, you said, you know, she's going in for surgery. We haven't seen her. What's going on? Is there anything wrong? And then the fact that they haven't said anything, even though they said she'll be back at duty by Easter, which is 18 days from now, then I just, people are just like, they're just chomping at the bits for something. They need something. Again, like 30,000 people dead in fucking in Palestine. You know, the Israelis blocking aid from getting in, but goddamn, we haven't seen Kate Middleton in like a hot ass minute. I wonder what's going on with that. So, you know, just show the real pic and be on with it, basically. So something's going on. Now, some people have said that they found that the photo of her, the smile, was actually an image taken from like a Vogue magazine cover or something. And like, that's making, like, I mean, I'm looking at that image and like, it looks good from a distance, but it's like, did somebody just like Photoshop it together and just like fucking blow it up? I have no idea. It's really, really, really weird. It's not that I care. I don't care, but I'm just curious.
There are a number of things that have happened here. Kate, we know, is a very, very keen amateur photographer. She has taken hundreds of photographs of her own family, and she's put them out there, and there haven't been many complaints in the past. There have been a few people saying that's a bit amateur and so on, but there haven't been...
Right. We know that she's an amateur photographer. We know that she's put out bits and pieces here and there, bits and bobs. Right, but there's been a few people that have been like, she's a little bit too amateurish. Not good, princess. Not good at all. What the fuck?
Been, this kind of huge deluge of criticism. But, of course, that's all changed since the suspicion about where has Kate been for the last couple of months. Everything she does and every photograph she puts out is under much more intense scrutiny than before.
All right, Daisy. Well, I guess we're going to do this story again tomorrow.
I guess so.
Kind of our feeling.
I mean, if they, yeah.
So there you go, right? We're gonna do the story tomorrow. We're gonna do the story as long as it needs to happen. I will not stop with the accent, Danny. It's going to happen. Right, cheerio. Let's talk about the labia majora. Got to get in there. Old men in the boat, you know what I mean? Twin men in the sea. I don't fucking know. Let's see. RWP18 here says, we don't have universal health care and Palestinian children are starving, but goddamn, fucking Kate Middleton's photograph. I don't even know. It's some crazy shit, guys. It's some crazy shit of what's going on with all that. It's just like everyone out there is just trying to, I think, I think people just need distractions. If you want my honest opinion, I think people just really want distractions. And that's the only thing that they've got right now. I don't know if it's just the world going to shit or people are just too fucking goddamn tired of everything. But I don't know. I wish It's just tiring. you know, like when can we just, here we go. Rational here says tabloid stories sell. You just described most of YouTube, by the way. Zap here says, I don't think Cheerio is part of the typical British vocabulary anymore. Well, I'm bringing it back, motherfucker. I'm bringing it back. I'm going to say Cheerio to every fucking person that I talk to. It's going to be a wide variety of things. It's going to be that I guys fucking say. I don't know. I am kind of tired. It is a little bit on the late side. It is almost midnight. I do got to get going. I got to, kids and shit. There will be another live Hollywood After Dark tomorrow afternoon. I know the After Dark is now just kind of a moniker, but if you guys are looking for that, that is available over on $3 Theater. As always, thank you to everyone that popped in tonight. Thank you very much to Vito Gasoldi for coming in and clearly not making it a very uncomfortable experience while talking about racial relations in modern age. And I will you guys, I think there's like a link to the Discord in the video description. And I'll talk to you all later. Have yourself a great night. Thank you again, and peace out.